Well, there appear to be key differences because if you're implying that it's the center of your vision, I read a book on perspective that said you can have multiple vanishing points at eye level spread
Oh my
out.
God,
Like,
Lemon, that has to do with the direction that you draw things, or that you. Oh, listen, I'm gonna educate you. I apologize to the room. Multiple vanishing points has to do with an image that is greater than your field of vision. Okay, if it's on the same piece of paper, if it's on the same two-dimensional piece of paper, then to have two vanishing points, you're either using an object whose dimensions go off into two, like, so let's say you draw a building is usually a square. Okay, so the perspective that you're looking at that building, as the front of the building is closer than the back of the building. Okay, the lines that connect the front of the building to the back of the building, the side of the building, those lines converge to a vanishing point. However, if the building is not, if the direction of that building is not parallel to you, okay, let's say you're looking at the building at an angle, let's say 30 degrees, 45 degrees, whatever, then the other face of the building that you can see, those lines also converge to a vanishing point, which is 90 degrees from the first vanishing point. However, you can't put that on a two-dimensional sheet of paper. So you either have to make the two-dimensional sheet of paper really wide, in which case the image is going to look a little distorted.
yeah, you
Okay.
spread out vanishing points to give a more realistic look.
No, you're
Otherwise,
not spreading
kind of
out
pinched.
anything.
If you
No,
have
no, there's
everything
no.
converge to the same vanishing point, it looks pinched.
No, Lemon, stop. That is not what happens. You're talking about the object. I could make it a triangle. I could make it a square. I could make it a bumpity object. But we're used to buildings and houses and all sorts of objects that are square and cube shaped. So when we look at a vanishing point, the two vanishing points are the two faces. I mean, sorry, the vanishing points are how the two faces of the object that we can see recede into the
Yeah,
distance.
but
That's
to
it.
get realistic perspective drawing and a realistic look that appears to mimic what we see in real life, you don't just have one central vanishing point. You spread the vanishing points out.
But
And
that's
so the point
different. That's
about
not
there
no,
being
that's not what
multiple
we're talking about. We're
vanishing
not talking about
points that
drawings,
would be
Lemon.
at
Lemon.
horizon line would be, still
Lemon,
valid.
we're not talking about that though. Your eyes, when you focus off into the distance, you're only able to see one vanishing point at a time. The vanishing
That,
point, by
that.
definition, shut up. The vanishing
So
point,
you
by
could look at
definition, is
any
right in
of those
front of you. It's
multiple
always
vanishing
right in
points
front of you.
at horizon. You could look
Fuck it.
along that
Fuck it.
horizon
Okay, you're
line
right, Lemon.
at
You're
what is
right. You're right. You
essentially
win. I'm wrong. All right, whatever.
vanishing point.
Whatever. No, whatever, Lemon. Okay, you're right. I'm wrong. So, anyway, that's it.
Well,
Can't
the
tell
thing is
people
to
shit.
have an intellectual discussion rather
You're
than
not
the
having one.
intellectual discussions that you like to have. You need to put your point by the side of my point and talk about how your point deals with my point to have a real intellectual
It
discussion.
works both
Now, if you want to have a
ways.
pseudo intellectual discussion where you want to tell me what to think rather than tell me what is right or wrong about my idea, you can do that and go ahead. But
So that's what I'll
intellectual
do.
people like
That's
myself
what I'll
are
do.
not
I'm
going
going
to
to
have
tell
a
you what to think
conversation
because you don't know
with
what you're talking
stubborn
about.
prigs like yourself who want to preach and tell me what to think rather than say, here's what's right or what's wrong about your idea.
And here's what's wrong with your idea. I'm going to tell you again. You didn't listen. You're speaking about a vanishing point with an object. I had clearly articulated that we're speaking of if you are looking at an object, but that's not the same thing as your optical vision. When you look straight ahead, which you can only look straight ahead, that's all you can do. Your peripheral vision is how your mind tries to see stuff that is not straight ahead of you. That's it. You can only look straight ahead, Lemon. What you see off in the distance, right in front of you, is by definition the vanishing point for you. That's it.
But the thing is, my central thesis was that
Will
you can
you
have multiple
please take the
vanishing points
advice that you
spread out
just
at
gave
the
me and
horizon.
apply it for yourself?
But my central thesis hasn't been addressed that you can have multiple vanishing points at horizon. You haven't addressed that
You
intellectually.
can
Or
have a gazillion vanishing points if you have a bunch of different objects on a drawing or in a model on a computer, but you can't have
just
more
like
than
you
one
would with the
vanishing
city
point for
skyline.
yourself.
Yes.
No, listen
Yes.
to me. You cannot have one more than one vanishing point for you. You yourself. Wherever you look, that's your vanishing point.
That's not true, Flattened.
That is very true.
No, it isn't. Imagine you had 10 sets of train tracks all going away from you in different directions. They would all have their own vanishing points.
They would have their, see, you said their vanishing points, but you have
At
to turn to
Horizon.
look at each one to see the vanishing point for those train tracks. Listen,
So,
if you want to be really technical like that, there's a bajillion, trillion, gajillion vanishing points all over the world for all sorts of objects everywhere.
and it's at eye
But we're
level.
not
Yeah.
talking about that. We're talking about your field of vision. Your field of vision, your vanishing point, there's only one.
Any parallel lines that you can see have their
But you
vanishing
just
point.
but you
Uh,
just made the point that you could have multiple
But the
vanishing points at Horizon.
lines
So
have their
we
vanishing
agree.
point. You have your own vanishing point, and that vanishing point
You
is
don't.
always in front of you.
A
So
So
we
human
hold on,
being does
agree.
not have a
Multiple
vanishing
vanishing
point.
points at
hold
I'm
the
on.
saying
Horizon
your
level.
field of vision. Listen, when I say you have your own vantage point, I'm not talking about you looking at yourself. Obviously, guys, come on. All I'm saying is when you look straight ahead, what you see in front of you, vanishing off to the distance, unless you're trying to talk about peripheral vision, which makes no sense in this conversation. Your vanishing point is what you see straight ahead. Now, you want to give it a different
Okay.
word? Fine. I don't even care about the word. All I care about is the concept.
You want
Okay.
to
Yeah,
call it
the
a
horizon line
vanishing
would be
line?
multiple vanishing
No, it's
points
called a
in a
vanishing point.
line.
You
The
guys are
horizon line would
redefining
be
what a
multiple
vanishing point
vanishing
is
points
for
along
the
the line.
observer.
Let me get his dope out and let other people support you, maybe, FG. Because
So are
what you're
you saying
saying is
that if you're looking in one direction, you can only have one vanishing point? Is that what you're trying to say? I agree with
Yes.
you there, but if you spread
your
out those
vision
vanishing
is
points, you're going to get a horizon line. That seems to be where we're
lemon,
differing.
lemon, your
But you're
vision is
having a different
static
conversation.
image, like a piece of paper, a drawing where you can draw a multi-point perspective. You're looking in one direction at a time. Okay, you don't have like all of these vanishing points going on like you do in a drawing when you're live watching something. It's it, and it's not even really a vanishing point, so to speak, not the way that you're trying to use it. It's really fucked up what you're doing.
It's a vanishing line when you have a bunch of vanishing points spread out at the horizon. It's just a bunch of vanishing points.
No, okay. The
No,
definition of a vanishing point, the point at which receding parallel lines viewed in perspective appear to converge. Done. Okay. If
That
it's an
would be the
objective
same.
thing, then there's a million vanishing points. If it's a subjective thing, there's only one vanishing point.
And the
So there's
horizon
the
line is
distinction.
the vanishing point, infinite vanishing points along a
There's
certain
no such thing
elevation.
as infinite vanishing points.
That's what you get with a
That's
horizon line.
that's a useless comment.
the
But
vanishing
all it
point is
is
at the
applying the
center of the
concept to the
coordinate
horizon.
of
Because you're
your
6 feet off the ground, you're going to have a vanishing point for a 6 foot object from your eye line down, ramping up, and for 6 feet from your eye level up, ramping down. It's just the vanishing point for those two zones. It's just the
You keep
application of the
saying that
principle in a
shit
different way.
too long, Lemon. There's no reason to repeat that. That is absolute
So if you're not
fucking
adding
nonsense.
information, I really wish you would shut up.
Where is your 6 foot coming from? Dipshit.
That's the average height of an adult, as I've said
Right. So
multiple
when you're
times.
standing at 100 feet, what is your vanishing point?
Okay, well now
100
it's for an
below.
object that's 100 feet.
Hey,
100 feet below
dickhead.
your eye
Answer the
level
fucking
and above your eye
question.
level. Now you have a different
Hey,
object with the
answer.
width of your vision.
I don't have to let you just fucking do that. Now listen, I'm trying to
Kurt,
ask you
I
a
despise it when
question.
you go
Hey,
personal. I do not care
I'm
about
not
what you
going
think about me
personal.
personally. I do
I'm
not
not going
care.
personal. Now quit throwing a little fucking hissy fit and
Now
listen,
you're talking about me now.
dickhead, shut up. When you're 100 foot above the
I'm muting you.
ground
I'm done,
and you're
Curved. I'm
looking
done. You don't
straight
add anything to the
forward,
discussion. I'm done.
right, because you can't deal with the fucking question. I'm asking you the fucking question and you can't deal with it.
Lemon, all you do, yeah, I now understand what your purpose here
You too,
is. You,
dude. You
you're,
don't
you're
add
what you
anything to the
do is
discussion
you
either.
try
You just try to
to
preach at
confuse an
people
argument
and talk to
by
them like they're
redefining
stupid.
the
We're
It's
done.
fucking
terms.
tampering.
Muting you too. I'm done.
Beat it.
And be gone. Be done.
Yeah, I got you. I
Go.
got you figured out, Lemon.
Fly the
Thank.
coop, bitch.
So
You come in
his
here and
goal
have
was
an
to
honest
distract.
fucking discussion. Fuck you.
So his goal was to distract. So all I was saying is that you have a vanishing point. You look straight ahead. I was asking whoever the other person was is when you look straight ahead, is what you're looking at straight ahead. I mean, Curved, you are the most no nonsense, I don't want to bullshit type of guy in this whole room. If I ask you this question, is there any more no nonsense way to ask it? Hey, Curved, if I look straight ahead, is what I'm looking at straight ahead?
Well, you've got the convergence line 6 foot above your eye, below your eye, and
Thank you.
I need to go suck a dick now.
Right, and then flatten destruction. You take forever to make a concise point. Oh, okay. Hey, if you look at something straight ahead, is it straight ahead of you? No, no. You're looking at it's going towards the horizon. No, it's going towards the equator. If it's on the equinox, it's going toward the equator. It's like, what are you talking about?
I would have to say, if you're looking at something straight ahead, it might not necessarily be straight ahead.
And there we go. I told you all. I was going to get the flat earther to confess that a straight line isn't a straight line.
It up and down. That's
No, a straight line's a straight line.
Well, then tell me, when can I see a straight line be a straight line? You're saying it's almost impossible. I can't see a straight line anymore. There's no such thing.
You definitely can't see one on Earth with the atmosphere. No.
Jeremy, listen to what you're saying. Think about it. You're still contradicting yourself. You don't see it. You're acknowledging that the sun does curve around a circle. It's making a circular path. That's separate from the concept of just looking at something straight ahead. And what you're trying to tell me, this is where it gets absurd. It just so happens that the way the straight lines appear to bend just so happens to follow this path that the sun takes.